Do these several benefits of delay lead to a firm conclusion that anyone who can afford putting off Social Security until age 70 should? Absolutely not. Identifying one group who probably shouldn't requires focusing on a core feature of Social Security. These are payments that are premised on average life expectancies and cease at death. For individuals whose current health situation or family history suggests their odds of achieving average longevity are poor, claiming benefits at an earlier age is far from irrational. Although we'll need to come back to this point in a few minutes. For the 62 or 66-year-old, without a spouse, doubtful about making it to age 70, let alone much beyond, delay is not an attractive course. Although payments cease upon death, AW's Social Security retirement benefit is by one measure an asset worth more than $250,000. If he or she were at age 62 to go shopping in the commercial sector for an annuity contract that would, like Social Security, start off paying $1,150 a month, a contract that would continue those payments for the rest of AW's life, as long as AW lived, with periodic adjustments to account for increased living costs, the price would be over $260,000 for a male, $30,000 more for a female. The gender differential reflects an important fact, namely that in the private sector, to the extent that state law allows, women must pay more than men for lifetime payments of any given amount. Why? Because on average, women live longer than men. The 62-year-old man is looking at an average life expectancy just a bit shy of 19 years. That is, death at 81. The average 62-year-old woman has a life expectancy 3 years longer. To a commercial firm selling annuities, those are 3 more years of monthly payments. Social Security pays men and women with the same earnings equally. That means that for a woman at any particular benefit level, Social Security is, on average, worth more than to their, on average, shorter-lived male counterparts. On the other hand, because women and men now approaching retirement have, on average, quite different earnings histories, women as a group have lower monthly benefits. Like commercial single-life private annuities, Social Security is an asset that vanishes upon death. No matter how few monthly payments AW collects, there will be nothing to pass on to the next generation or a favorite charity. There is an alternative to the commercially offered annuity that Social Security does not provide, namely investment of the contract amount. For the individual dying ahead of his or her expected span of years, this yields an estate. On the other hand, it poses the risk of the individual's outliving the invested fund. That, in a nutshell, is the annuity trade-off. Social Security retirement benefits provide assured income for a lifetime, however long that may be, but no residue other than a lump sum death benefit of $255. That's why those in poor health may not want to delay claiming Social Security, even if they have alternative sources of retirement income. As I've already noted, the Social Security program does provide survivors benefits, importantly benefits for some surviving spouses and former spouses. They may or may not seem a consideration for AW. That is a matter to which we shall soon turn. The tentative conclusion that delay to age 70 may make sense for those without grounds for believing they will die ahead of their peers rests on a critical premise, one that we need now to explore, namely that the amount by which Social Security adjusts the monthly amount for delay appropriately compensates for the shorter span of years over which payments will later be spread. If it doesn't, we'll have to revise that conclusion. There are 2 reasons for believing that Social Security's adjustment not only compensates but overcompensates, or put the other way around, that Social Security's adjustment factors operating between 62 and 70 substantially penalize those who start benefits before 70. The first reason concerns shifts in longevity that have occurred since those adjustment factors were put in place by Congress. The age of eligibility for Social Security retirement benefits was dropped from 65 to 62 for women in 1956. 5 years later, effective in 61, it was dropped for men. The same year, Congress set the reduction percentage for men and women taking benefits at 62 rather than 65 at 20%. The rate of adjustment has remained essentially unchanged, even as 3 to 5 years have been added to the expected lifetimes of seniors. What was an actuarially supportable adjustment in 61 is no longer. In view of today's greater longevity, the adjustment gives too much weight to incremental years between 62 and 70. In other words, those who decline the increases that come from delay in start benefits at their full retirement age or before will not on average make up what they have lost over their expected lifetimes. Confirmation of this point comes from prices in the private annuity market. The percentage difference in monthly payments that a particular amount paid to a commercial firm will buy a 62-year-old person compared to the same individual at 66 and the same individual at 70 is far less than Social Security's adjustment. While Social Security reduces benefits 25% for starting them at 62 rather than 66, the private sector's reduction factor is less than 15%. While Social Security provides an upward adjustment of 32% for delaying benefits from 66 to 70, private annuity firms offer less than half that incentive. Starting benefits earlier rather than later does allow an individual with other sources of income to invest the payments and realize gain. Not so long ago, some argued with confidence that they could, by investment of early benefit payments, more than offset the amount lost through Social Security benefit reduction over their remaining years. A lot who acted on that premise now regret the decision. For some, family composition can furnish a totally different reason to start benefits before age 70. An acquaintance recently passed his full retirement age. That meant that continued earnings no longer blocked benefits under the Social Security retirement test. At that point he applied, since delaying to age 70 would have lost 4 full years of benefits for his young children. Subject to a cap, children of an individual entitled to Social Security retirement benefits are themselves eligible for monthly payments until age 18 or 19 if full-time students. So are spouses, but unlike children, spouses are, if they're of a comparable age, likely to be eligible for benefits on account of their own earnings, and if they are younger, likely to be earning sufficient income to preclude benefits under the same retirement test that applies to retirement benefits. With an important exception, specifically divorced former spouses, family members are not eligible for these auxiliary or secondary benefits until the individual on whose earnings record they rest has filed an application for and thereby become entitled to retirement benefits. Waiting until age 70 yields a higher monthly retirement benefit, but there is no adjustment to compensate for child or spouse benefits that would have been paid in earlier years had the retirement benefits been claimed earlier.